Hello and welcome back. It's Morgan again with madvillecreations, and this is the fourth video in a series for GPT girlfriend character creation. We're going to pick up where we left off with Zofia, our pizza delivery girl. Last time we talked about the first message, 5 common problems, and some solutions. Today we'll continue our conversation on the first message and show our draft message for Zofia. Follow along, take notes, and you can use the same steps to work on your personal characters. Let's recap our process. Step 1. Come up with an idea for a bot and form a general description that we'll use as a placeholder. Step 2. Create a temporary profile picture, the skeleton for the character, then fill in the draft character personality. Step 3. Create a close to final version of the first message. Step 4. Outline the scenario. Step 5. Test and make updates. Step 6. Create a real profile picture and finalize the description based on our changes. We're in Step 3. Using what we learned in the last video, we want to create a first message that encompasses the following. Write from the character's point of view. Introduce the scene and scenario to the user. Introduce the character to the user. Incorporate the character using the user's name, if it is logically possible for the character to already know the user's name before they introduce themselves. Give the user a hint at the path you want them to go down. Don't be too short, but don't be too long. Write from the character's point of view. There are 2 approaches we have taken. When we first started making characters, we used third-person point of view. Now we use first person. We feel it draws the user in more, especially for users that use the voice playback feature where the bots will speak to you. Since we primarily make single-character bots, first person works great, but not so much with multi-character bots. What's the difference? First-person narrative is told from the perspective of a character within the story, using pronouns like I and me. Third-person narrative is told by a narrator outside the story, using pronouns like he, she, and they. Here is an example of first-person narrative. By the time I reach your door, I can't stop the tears from streaming down my face. I try to wipe them away, but my hands are shaking and I can't help but feel completely overwhelmed. I knock on the door, feeling a wave of desperation, and when it opens, I look up at you, my breath hitching. I'm so sorry, I whisper, my accent thick as the words tumble out. Here is the same example using third-person narrative. By the time Zofia reaches your door, she can't stop the tears from streaming down her face. She tries to wipe them away, but her hands are shaking, and she can't help but feel completely overwhelmed. Zofia knocks on your door, feeling a wave of desperation, and when it opens, she looks up at you, her breath hitching. I'm so sorry, she whispers, her accent thick as the words tumble out. Introduce the scene and scenario to the user. This is important. As the designer, you know all the inner workings of the character and setting, but the user doesn't. Make sure they know where they are at and what is going on at this moment in time. Introduce the character to the user. You want to convey the emotional state of the character and what they look like or what they are wearing. Imagine when you meet someone for the first time. What do you see? What is your impression? Give the user an impression in the first message. We talked about this in our last video. To make things more natural and real, if there is a logical way for the character to know the user's first name, do that here. Sometimes the bot will use the user's name without the user introducing themselves. That can trigger a break in reality like in real life. If a stranger uses your name, wait, how do you know my name? I didn't tell you. Can we say stalker vibe? You should always make it clear the path you want the user to go down. They shouldn't have to guess. In the end, if the user wants to do something different, no problem, but at least give them an intuitive idea of where the story is leading so they don't feel lost before they even start. Don't be too short, don't be too long. Preference plays into this a lot. Some people like longer messages, some people like shorter. Find a middle ground and set the pattern for future messages. Paragraph format, dialogue structure, punctuation, spelling, grammar, point of view for narration, not talking for user. Your first message sets the starting pattern for the future messages. if you misspell a bunch of words or use weird quote placement. This can carry forward in future messages, causing a bad experience for the user. Thanks for sticking with us. Here is our draft first message for Zofia, the pizza delivery girl. The rain is coming down harder than I expected, soaking through my thin work t-shirt as I step out of my broken-down car in front of your house. I glance back, and my heart sinks as I see steam spewing from the hood. Of course, this would happen now. You're my last delivery. This is the last thing I need. I clutch your pizza box, the warm cardboard feeling almost out of place in my freezing hands. Your house in front of me has its lights on, glowing warmly through the windows. Each step toward the door feels heavy, my shoes splashing through puddles as panic starts to set in. What am I going to do? I don't have money to fix my car. There is nobody I can call. I'm alone. By the time I reach your door, I can't stop the tears from streaming down my face. I try to wipe them away, but my hands are shaking, and I can't help but feel completely overwhelmed. I knock on the door, feeling a wave of desperation, and when it opens, I look up at you, my breath hitching. I'm so sorry, I whisper, my accent thick as the words tumble out. Zofia, pizza girl, my car. It break, and I look at the tag on the pizza. Are you Mike? Here is your pizza. My voice cracks, and I feel embarrassed, standing there soaked and helpless, not knowing what else to say. What do you think? Hopefully you have a picture in your head of the scenario. Do you know who you are? Where you are? Zofia's problem? Maybe you have some ideas how you can solve her problem. Wink, wink. A couple notes. This first message is a little long for my taste, but it doesn't have to be perfect. We'll start with this and modify as we get closer to a final personality. That is all we're going to cover today. We hope this helped. Next time we'll work on the scenario sheet. Thanks for tuning in to Madville Creations. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Now, go be awesome. Go be amazing.